Hi, this is Jen from Jen's Ink Spot, and I'm glad you joined me today. I want to discuss how to layer the Hello Autumn stamps from Catherine Pooler without using a stamp positioner tool. Here's what the stamp set looks like. As you can see, there are multiple leaves to choose from in this stamp set, and I found that they're very easy to layer without using a MISTI, so I want to share that with you. Each leaf has 4 different layers that you can stamp to create depth and interest, and here is the coordinating die set that matches as well. Here again is a look at the different leaves from the stamp set all stamped out. You can do this 2 ways. You can stamp on paper and then die cut, or for this set I found it works just as easy to die cut first and then stamp. I want to take a minute to talk about acrylic blocks. This one is a round grid block from Catherine Pooler. It's wonderful for lining up stamps, helps you know where to place them. She also has others in the collection as well. This one's great for sentiments, helps you line them up simply, easily. I highly recommend it if you put sentiments together on a block. Then you also have this tiny size, which is just nice for those little tiny images. There's also a bigger block for bigger stamps, and then you also have the border block. They all have grids on them, they all have grips for your fingers on the side. Highly recommend them. Okay, so let's move on to how to stamp these layers on the leaves. I started with this pink leaf, which happens to be my favorite from the collection, and I'm going to use 2 colors of pinks, It's a Girl and Be Mine. The It's a Girl is going to be my first 2 layers, so I'm going to first ink up my leaf image in It's a Girl, and then I'm going to gently stamp it off once on my scratch paper because I just want a very light color of ink as my bottom layer. When you stamp it, if it's not completely even, that's okay. It just adds to the look of the leaf, which I really like. You can see here that I'm pressing kind of hard onto my image, which usually isn't necessary, but I want to make sure to transfer as much of that bottom layer on to my leaf as I can because it's very light. Now I am going to ink up my second layer of my leaf image. This is also in It's a Girl, and it's going directly from my ink pad to my leaf, so it is full strength. And once this is finished, you'll be able to see how nicely those layer on top of each other. Now for the third layer, Rose Petals. This is a nice pink color, and it's a little bit deeper than It's a Girl, and it looks wonderful on top of the 2 layers of It's a Girl that I've already stamped. I hope you can tell how easy it is to line up these images without using a stamp positioner tool. Here you can see that it has a stem, and so that makes it very easy to line up. That's why I like die cutting this particular stamp set first and then stamping, because again you can find the stem like I'm doing here and then know exactly where to stamp it. It just makes it so easy. There's also a really long piece on this stamp that goes all the way to the very top image or point of the leaf, and I use that as a guide as well. This is a fairly easy stamp set to layer in my opinion. I think if you struggled with layering stamps in the past, give this one a try because I think you'll find that it's easier for you. Now you can most definitely use a MISTI or a stamp positioning tool with this set if you prefer, especially if you're going to be mass producing these images, but I did not find that I needed to use one at all. I found it very easy to line up just using the die cut images. For this next leaf I went with Sweet 16, Pixie Dust, Royal Treatment, and Blackjack ink to stamp this image, and instead of stamping it on the die cut like I usually do, I'm going to stamp it on a piece of paper because I know that some of you enjoy doing it that way also. So I'm first going to use Sweet 16 and stamp the first layer and put that color down, and then I'm going to move to the second darkest color, which is Pixie Dust, and I'm going to use a second layer stamp and line it up. Again, the outline of the image really helps you know exactly where to position this at, and so I did not find that I struggled at all to know where to line that up just by being able to look through my block and see where to go. Now I'm on my third layer, and this is Royal Treatment, which is a much darker purple, and this one has the stem in it. So I lined it up with the outline of my image and stamped that, and it lined up perfectly. Now I'm using Blackjack, and I think you'll be amazed what this does to this image because it doesn't really look like a dark gray. It really kind of layers on top the purple and makes it even a deeper purple. So now if you wanted to, you could line up your die cut with the stamped image and you'd be ready to put it through your Big Shot machine. This little leaf image is very much the same process that we've used for the other images. I'm going to start out with Shea Butter ink to put down the lightest ink color. Again, I'm just lining it up with the die cut. There's really no guessing involved because this layer almost matches the die cut exactly. So if you just follow the shape of that, then you won't have any problems. Tiara is the second layer of ink I'm putting down, and it is the same system. It doesn't include the stem in here, but it does line up exactly with the outline of the image again on the outside. And Sonnet is exactly the same way. It's the darker of the inks that I'm using, and again I line it up with the shape on the outside. Now for my sample that I've already completed, I have embossed it, the last layer, in gold, but I'm going to go ahead and stamp it this time in Blackjack ink to keep it simple. This leaf is sized nicely to help fill in your projects. Last up is this gorgeous leaf. We're going to use Rockin' Red stamped off once, and then Full Strength, Peppermint, Scrub, and Blackjack ink to create this. So I'm going to get my scratch paper back, and I'm again tapping my leaf in Rockin' Red. Sorry, I'm a little bit off screen. And then gently tap it on my scratch paper and then stamp it on my image. This one again lines up exactly with the die cut image. That's why I like stamping on the die cut images. Puts down just a nice, very faint red. So then I'm going to take the second layer and also inking it up with Rockin' Red. It'll go directly on top of that layer. Again, it layers up almost perfectly, easy to line up according to your die cut. The next layer doesn't have the stem in it. This one is Peppermint Scrub, but it still layers nicely with the die cut image. The last color for this that I'm using is Blackjack ink, and again this one, once it's stamped, it kind of creates like a dark maroon color. It's very beautiful, kind of unexpected, but you can see here the detail, and it doesn't really look like gray. It just layers on there so nicely. Thank you so much for joining me today at Jen's Ink Spot. There'll be a shopping list under this post. Click on Show More to see all of the products that I used today. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great day.